What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. I'm still trying to figure out here what to do with the Thunder Pacers series. From a betting standpoint, I want to spend a couple minutes on that and then get to the Orioles here. And then I want to talk Maryland basketball. But first on Thunder Pacers, if you're betting on this series and you want to bet the Pacers, you can find any bet and it's a good value bet. Anything with the Pacers, whether they win the series, the exact games, MVP, anything pro Pacers, you're in good shape. But I wanted to spend a minute advising if you want to bet the Thunder, if you really think the Thunder are just going to run right over the Pacers, the games aren't going to be close. And even if they are close, the Thunder are going to pull it out, whether they win by 8, 10, 12, that's where the numbers are going to be. As far as the spread's concerned, my advice would be take the Thunder to win in 6 games or fewer. So that would be a sweep, 5 games or 6 games. Pay the juice. You can get it about 260, 270, 280, minus 260, minus 270, minus 280 were the numbers I saw this morning. And then what happens is if you're wrong and it gets to game 7, now you better be not completely wrong and the Pacers win in 6. But let's say, you're pretty on point. It's 3-2 Thunder and the Pacers win that game at home. And now it's 3-3, and you have all this money on game 7. You've laid incredible minus 275, 280, wherever you're at with the juice. You are in a solid position to hedge that by taking the Pacers on the money line or the Pacers to cover the spread, however you want to hedge it. Because in a game 7 scenario like that, the Pacers will be at least a 2-1 dog, right? They're at least probably could be closer to a 3-1. So if you want to bet the Thunder, my advice would be I don't know about giving 9 points or 10 points in these games. That's just, first of all, it doesn't feel like a fun watch. You think the Thunder are just going to win by 30, 40 points. They've done that a couple times. The Pacers aren't the type of team to lose by 30 points. They just score too many points for that. So I would advise against that. And I'd advise against the money line in any particular game because it's a series. And I think the Pacers are going to win a couple of these games. My prediction is the Thunder are going to win this series, but I think it's going to go 7. And you know what? I reserve the right here after game 1 because I'm taking the Pacers in game 1 to cover. And if the Pacers win game 1, I think I'm going to take the Pacers to win this series in 6 because I don't see a dramatic difference in these teams. Before I get into that, let me finish the betting thought. If you're taking the Thunder to win in an exact amount of games, like 4 games, 5 games, or 6 games, or even 7 games, that's also a valid bet if you feel confident about it. But if you just really like the Thunder and you think the Pacers are going to win 1, maybe 2 at the most, and you're not really sure, but you want to bet the Thunder, like I said, I would take the Thunder money line to win the series in 4 games, 5 games, or 6 games. And then if it does get to 7, you can hedge it by taking the Pacers. If you want to talk betting stuff and you have different thoughts or bets of your own you want to run by me, please feel free. Shoot me a message. I am available. From a just basketball standpoint, how do I see this playing out? I think the games are going to be close. I think the Pacers are just too good at basketball to get blown out. The only way you could blow out a team like the Pacers is if you are able to slow it down and grind them and not let them run. But the Thunder want to run. So I just feel like the Thunder think they're better than the Pacers at running and playing fast and playing aggressive. And I just think it's going to clip them a couple times. I think the Pacers are super talented. Can't wait for game 1. I'll break it down on Friday after it happens. But to preview game 1, I don't want to say it's pointless, but Carlisle is way smarter than me. I can't wait to see what he pulls out. He is a fantastic coach. This has a lot of similarities to the 2011 finals when the Mavericks beat the Heat and no one gave the Mavericks a chance to win that series. And Carlisle just ran circles around a young, up-and-coming coach, Eric Spoelstra. And this Dagenau guy from the Thunder is great, but he's not Carlisle. And I don't know. I got a funny feeling that the Pacers are going to sneak away with game 1. So I'm going to take the Pacers. I'm going to take their over. I'm going to ride the Pacers in game 1. And if they pull that game out, I will take them for the series. If they lose that game, I think it ends in, probably 6. Although it's going to be hard for the Thunder to close them out in Indiana. And that seems like a bad feeling for the fans. I don't know. I kind of want to take the Pacers, but I want to see how game 1 plays out. All right. Cowser's back. Excited for that. The Orioles are 22-36. That's not exciting. But what is exciting is they've won three in a row, and that they have a gazillion games left. There's so many games left. Cowser clearly is the energizer guy. I think it was obvious if you follow the Orioles the past couple of years, but even more obvious since he's been gone. Like they just don't have the same punch without him, the same energy, the same atmosphere. And even if you're not in the clubhouse every day, you can just kind of feel it watching the games. So having Cowser back is super important. Hopefully he produces. Hopefully it lights a fire under Kerstead because he was not optioned today. And when Westberg comes back, I imagine Kerstead will stick around. You know, that Mullins Mountcastle timeline is kind of the Kerstead time. There's so much to get into with him, but he's going to get some more at bats on this West Coast trip. They're going to go to Seattle, then they're going to go to Sacramento. Can they get 5 out of 6? Can they keep this thing going? Tonight's a big one. Tonight's the game where you're like, man, I really want to buy back into the Orioles. Can they win this game? Because Sagano's going to pitch probably get a nice crowd as he's in Seattle. I haven't done the research as I'm saying that out loud, but it is the closest spot to Japan. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a nice contingent of his fans. And we're going to go against George Kirby, who numbers don't look good. He's always been great, but numbers don't look good. He's struggling. Seattle's, they're 4-6 in their last 10, but they're feeling pretty good. They got the walk off the other day. Rosarena's right there. I can't stand him. He's right in the middle of the lineup with Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. Luke Raley's on the IL, so we'll miss out on him. And Gilbert, I believe, is on the IL, one of their star pitchers, so we miss out on him. And I just have a good feeling that the Orioles want this a little bit more than Seattle, especially tonight. I think we're going to punch them in the mouth. Both teams had an off day yesterday. The Orioles offense, it's a momentum thing. Sports are momentum, and they haven't quite gotten going. I have a really good feeling that this is the best that they felt. I would bet the Orioles tonight. I'm not sanctioning any picks there because I won't bet my money on the Orioles. But if you're inclined to be betting the Orioles or want to put it in a parlay, excuse me, I have a good feeling about the Orioles tonight. All right, Maryland basketball. I have no idea who's going to be the starting five. I really don't even know what the rotation is going to be. You got to see what these guys develop with over the summer. But Coach Buzz Williams has rebuilt the roster in a way that is getting universal approval. The ceiling is TBD, but I have a great feeling this team's headed to the tournament. I just love what he's done with the team. It feels like as you watch the Pacers and Thunder build their teams with friendship and camaraderie and ball movement, unselfishness, not necessarily trying to build a big three. That feels like what he did with his roster. You have no idea who even the best player is. Like I said, you really anybody that says they know what the rotation is going to be is fooling themselves, especially after they added this kid from Serbia, Alex Alston, the other day to basically round out the roster. The last guy that came in is Nick Blake, Steve Blake's son, which is just really cool and a nice feeling, excuse me, to end the rebuild of the roster. It just feels like Buzz is really tapped in to the Maryland fan base, what's important, what makes sense, and make sure we get to the tournament this year, do it with some young guys, and then maybe the following year, if you add, excuse me, if you add one or two guys, maybe it's a national championship team. But this team right here is a top 20 team. Feels like it. Like I said, whether it's Colin Metcalf, the tall transfer, Elijah Saunders, Payne, Washington, the front court feels legit. I'm not really sure if, the Josiah Harper kid that they just signed is even going to – he might get redshirted. But those four guys I mentioned, one more time, Metcalf, Saunders, and then the two guys from Texas A&M, Washington and Payne, that to me is a legit front court that can do everything that you want them to do as far as shot blocking, rebounding. There's going to be some shot making. They all complement each other. Just really exciting. So those four guys are going to be in the rotation. I feel 100% confident with that. Who starts and the different variations, that's to be determined. But those four guys are definitely going to be in the rotation, with two of them likely starting. It's Miles Rice is probably, I would say that he's the ceiling, how high the ceiling can go is based on him because he's going to be the point guard. The freshman they brought in, Darius Adams, can compete with him, but I think he's going to be a little bit more as a scorer coming in. I don't know if he's quite ready to lead the team as the point guard. Miles Rice, they're going to give the keys to as the point guard, and we just haven't seen enough of him to know whether or not he can run the whole team. I just have a good feeling. I've read enough about him, so he gets that spot. As I would be shocked if he's not the starter. And then they just fill it out with guys, whether it's George Turkson, the young kid from Texas A&M, Diggy Coit, who's coming from Kansas, who is apparently just a bucket waiting to happen. Not quite a point guard, but a scorer, whether or not he starts or comes off the bench. And then they got Miles Rice's teammate, former teammate from Washington State, Isaiah Watts, who could lead the team in scoring. And it took me a minute to get to him. They got this kid, Guillermo Del Pino, who's built like a stick. Most likely, he gets redshirted, but who knows? They got so many different guys. Andre Mills, I didn't mention, also from Texas A&M. So there's just a ton of guys to get excited about. And I have no idea what the roster is going to look like when it comes to the starting five or the 8 or 9 guys that make it. I can sit here and guess and predict. But the thing I wanted to talk about is that there's a great feeling about Maryland basketball. If you've been following it since, Queen hits the buzzer beater against Colorado State, and you followed it all the way to get excited about that, it's been nothing but just negativity surrounding it until Buzz quietly but efficiently rebuilt the team. And I love the guys. I love what he's done with it. I love the fact that we're not really relying on anybody. Yeah, Miles Rice is probably the one guy I zeroed in on, and he was the first guy that Buzz outside of Texas A&M, I believe, that committed. So I think he is probably the most important guy. The ball's going to be in his hands. But they're not really relying on 1 or 2 guys here. They can do it different ways. They're going to have a lot of competition. So if you're following Maryland basketball, I think you're going to enjoy it over the summer and see what the roster looks like. All right. Sorry if that didn't come out as clean as it was in my head. Excited for the Orioles tonight. Recording this early. Got to find a nap in here so I can stay awake. Sagano hopefully gets us 4 in a row. And I'll do a pod Friday morning after the Pacers Thunder. Have a good day. And if you want to talk Pacers Thunder, please just shoot me a message. I'll make myself available. I'll see you guys on Friday.